Yes, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Match day today. United are playing Burnley a little bit later on, but I thought we'd get into a little bit of this breaking transfer news that seems to be going on. Romano's been chopping off. He's got a couple of sources. We've also got Matteo Moretto, who's tier one for Italian sports, which we're going to be talking about in a second, even though he's got links to what's going on in supposedly Germany, Spain, and England. But it is what it is. And I want to start it over in Argentina. And I'm interested to know what you guys, because we're live, I'm interested to know who he reminds you of, and that is Julian Alvarez. There's a lot of talk coming out that this could be Ralph Rangnick's first signing, and I've just spent the last hour or so watching him. He reminds me of a short Cavani. It's almost like a blend of Chicharito and Cavani. He seems to get on the end of a lot of crosses with his head, but I don't think his heading is anywhere near good enough to think that he could be someone that leads the line for United. He presses. He is aggressive. He gets his head up. I think people have been trying to liken him to Aguero, and I completely disagree. Aguero works well within the box, and that's his zone. Alvarez, to me, seems to do a lot of work outside the box. He's got a good pass on him. He's got the ability to play off the right-hand side, which Aguero didn't. And it seems like he's got a good shot on him from range as well, which wasn't really Aguero's thing. I know there's a lot of people saying Aguero. I completely disagree that it's Aguero. I do see more Cavani in him, but there's definitely going to be sort of Chicharito vibes coming out from him. Here's what's been said anyway, and here's how he's done so far. So he's got 18 goals and 7 assists with 25 goal involvements in just 21 games for a plate. I don't know. He's 21 as well. Turns 22 in January 31st. I don't know what the exchange rate of a goal in the Italian Premier League is versus the Premier League, because I imagine it's smaller, but to what degree, I actually don't know. Last night there was a lot of noise coming out, and several sources suggest United could trigger a release clause. A release clause rumoured to only be around £17 million, which is nothing. Majority of sources reporting this seem to be around tier 3, so there might not be much in this, but there's a lot of people going quite deep with it, so we'll look into it at least, and we'll see what the script is. So TNT Sports Argentina even, Sebastian Schreur, he mostly covers River Plate, has done for 2 decades, and he says Alvarez. He's one of the sources sort of talking that there's noise going on with this. There's some talk that Alvarez representative Hidalgo confirmed that he's going to be in Europe at the start of Jan, and that he's meeting with teams that are going to contact him. And several elite clubs have already expressed an interest, and at the moment he tells me there's nothing scheduled for United. But there's been suggestion that this could just be agent noise and that United aren't actually interested in him. But having watched how he presses, I think that makes a lot of sense, in all honesty. Jedi Star says, why are we buying a striker? Well, I'll put it to you this. Who are the strikers at Manchester United currently? Now, I think this is a position we are overloaded in. I'd say we got 5, right? So you got Cavani, you got Ronaldo, you got Martial, you got Rashford, and you got Greenwood. Okay, Cavani, for me, perfect. Perhaps doesn't play often enough and seemingly wants to go and might even go next month. Okay, so if Cavani goes, well, we'll still be all right, won't we? All right, yeah, okay, fair enough. All right, what if Martial goes as well? Which seems likely, doesn't it? It seems like Martial and Cavani could both go. Well, that leaves us what? Ronaldo, Rashford, Greenwood. We're currently playing a 2-striker system. So 3 strikers for that doesn't really fit anyway. Marcus is in poor form. And, one of them could get injured at any point. So Ronaldo and Rashford out of form means you've got Greenwood, who would then be left starting every single game. I think he's had issues this season. I don't think he looks the same at the races. I think he's still got a lot of progression to go through. So bringing in somebody else into that mixer, I don't think that's a bad idea in the slightest, especially there's probably a good value to be had here for a £17 million striker. I think he's worth the gamble. I've seen a couple of goals of him here where he's pressed and won the ball. And that to me is exactly what a Ralph Rangnick signing looks like in my head. Exactly like that. So I wouldn't mind seeing how that rolls. A couple of people in the comments there saying Rashford don't really fit the two-striker role, needs to go back on the left. Yeah, I could see that. I don't think he's... I also not sure he's been physically right. He doesn't look it, at least, does he? And Promote McNeil says, did I start? I'm pretty sure McNeil's a little bit of a way off so far. And Ronaldo's probably only got one more season. So you can see the need to bring in someone 21, 22 would make a hell of a lot of sense, I think. Notch says, Rangnick will want to get a midfielder, but if this guy's good and available now and affordable, get him. Yeah, it's 17 million. You're not going to think that's going to destroy anybody's transfer, but it's not 80 million centre half, is it? So I think that if you spent 17 million on this, you could still get your first choice midfielder. And I'm going to do a video tomorrow, probably, I would imagine, looking at free midfielders that United could sign. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be looking at the likes of Kamara and all that lot. But I'm not covering any of those today. There's actually no midfielders that we're covering today. But the next one that we are going to cover is Ousmane Dembele. Yeah, I'm sick of hearing this guy's name as well. He's only played 8 games all season, completely injury ravaged. And Romano's saying that he's been approached by 2 Premier League clubs to sign as a free agent, offering a big salary. When you look at the Premier League, you go, right, who's that? Who's done that? Chelsea? Yeah, to be honest, I could see Chelsea offering him a contract because this is a Chelsea signing if ever I saw one. Newcastle's probably the other one that throwing money around, trying to bring in anybody that they can in January. Anyone who's looking to get away from their club, anyone with a bit of a big name, I could definitely see Newcastle going for it. But why would United want to be in for him? Why? It's his 5th season at Barcelona now, and I'm not even sure he's played 100 games, you know. Let me just have a quick look. He's played 126 games in 5 seasons. Just not on, is it? Just no. Someone's just tweeted me as well saying Nicolas Cage was great in The Rock. It's going to be a long day, innit, if that's the sort of shit that we have to deal with. Dembele, right, reminds me a lot of Zaha, to be honest. I think as a dribbler, and here's the thing, I think people get really stuck in a little loop on, if someone's a good dribbler, it means they're an amazing footballer. Alan St. Maxim, he's only got 4 goals or something to his name this year. I think he's a brilliant dribbler of the ball. Is he doing enough elsewhere? No. You got to be more productive than that as well. It's all right being good to look at, but you've got to be being a bit more productive. And when I look at Dembele, I just don't see the production in him at all. When you look at some of the numbers other players have been putting up in Dortmund, and then how they've struggled when you come to the Premier League, and he didn't even have crazy numbers at Dortmund ever. He had quite ordinary numbers, really. I just don't... Injury prone, question marks over his attitude, only wants an absolutely mega salary. It's literally a walking red flag. So I'd have to say no. Matteo Moretto, the tier 1 from Sky Sports Italy, he's come out and saying United and Newcastle have contacted Dembele's representative 100%. Bayern Munich are also following him closely, but there's likely to be more teams that want him. I can't imagine Bayern Munich or another team one. Just absolutely no. Absolutely no. Joe saying 4 goals and 3 assists for a relegation side isn't that bad. How many did Kevin Phillips get in a relegation side? Didn't he get 30 in a season? Do you know what I'm saying? Adama Traore is another one. I think he'd actually work at United. I really do. Adama Traore. But his numbers aren't productive, really. Final one to talk about then is going to be Axel Tuanzebe and Romano. This is a really interesting one as well. Romano coming out saying Napoli are in contact with United through intermediaries to discuss a potential loan fee and the option to buy Axel Tuanzebe. He's appreciated, but the price tag will be key to negotiations. Villa are waiting, and nothing is agreed just yet. Axel really needs to just go and kickstart his career somewhere. It doesn't look like he's able to get in the mixer at United. And one of the most naturally gifted defenders I have ever seen. But again, if you don't get enough of those games, and you have to start getting them in men's football as well, the under-23s doesn't really count. You have to go and get men's football somewhere to develop. And Axel's just been denied that opportunity. He had a great season on loan with Aston Villa. That was a long time ago now. And he hasn't been afforded the opportunity or been able to take the opportunity because of injuries. So I think he just needs to move on. Otherwise, he's going to find himself 10 years deep at the club. And he could have been a player that captained United. But if you don't get those development games, and your career never actually gets to launch. And I think that's what's happened with Axel. I think cut the ties with him and go and see what the mixer is, and see what else is out there for you, because he could easily end up as an international, easily, comfortably. Yeah. Peter Higgins says, Mbappe or Haaland, just think we used to have Di Maria and Depay and ruin them. We're not a team to take on Dembele. We need an average player with the best attitude, cannot manage world-class players. Maybe, yeah. Any updates on Boubacar Kamara? I haven't got any, but I'll be looking at that tomorrow, and I'll be explaining a little bit more detail why we're looking at someone like him. But that's it. Nice, short and sweet one for today. Cheers for tuning in. I'll be back later on doing a review. I think I'm doing a review with Rio as well over on 5, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Stick around, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Latest.